Hello, everyone. Today, I'm very lucky to have a person who says that she's a concerned citizen of India. Actually, she's a media expert also. Let's listen to her. Right now, we have with us Shipra Mathur. Let's listen to Shipra. Over to you, Shipra.
Thank you, Subodhji, for this opportunity to speak to the global audience and Indian audience as well. I've decided in the past few years that I'll speak only from my own experience, not from the people who keep sharing or keep writing. So I just wanted to speak about the people who are on the margin and the rural economy of India, because as I understand, by interacting with a lot of people and speaking about the grassroots issues basically. So as I understand that where we come from is that how we have defined ourselves, as a country which has a legacy of civilization, more than 5,000 years old civilization, which used to be a nation with contributing 45% of the global GDP. So it was a rich treasure we have had of knowledge, of architecture, of skill sets, of trade and wisdom and information and everything. So how is it that we called ourselves as being agriculture economy? And when we translated this thought of calling ourselves as agriculture economy, because villages, as I see, are living texture of our Indian fabric. So this is a definition which I find that we had villages, we had cities, we had people who were living in the mountains, we had people living in the forest. But suddenly, as we, gained independence, as we struggled to have our independent identity, we started identifying ourselves as citizens. And we were never city dwellers, actually. We were city dwellers, but there were other dwellers also. So there was no concept of, defining ourselves in a simple, simple frame, or single frame. So there I thought, what was it that we actually had this robust sense of our presence in the global society. So there I understood that even presently we have more than 640,000 villages in India. And when we called ourselves as agriculture economy, we translated it as Krishi Arthvyavastha. And Krishi Arthvyavastha got translated into English as agriculture economy. And as I understood that agriculture didn't, in our sense, it was not just farming, it was not just agriculture. It was more of an entire ecosystem which operated, and Krishi apparently meant, as if we look at the even the origin of the words, Krishi meant to be active, kriyashil, being active or being industrious is what Krishi meant. And agriculture or kheti was just part of it. So there was an entire ecosystem in our rural India where agriculture was part of it, skill set was part of it. There were artisans, there were people with intelligence, with knowledge, and this entire ecosystem was called as Krishi Arthvyavastha. It was never agriculture. So we were taught that it was agriculture economy, or we were dependent on agriculture. We were dependent on agriculture, and this is how we have carried on. How we define ourselves as, that agriculture is contributing to this much into our economy and non-agriculture sector is contributing to this much in our economy. This is how we created a bifurcation. And this is how we started measuring our rural economy also. And seeing from that lens, I understood that, 2/3 of the population of India is still in villages. The 63% of the rural population is still in agriculture, and they are still contributing 40% of our GDP. So it is still a segment wherein we may be siphoning a lot of our budget into upliftment of rural societies and villages and all that. But at the same time, if we see the realities, because where I come from and where this thought emerged is that whenever I would interact with people on the margin or from the grassroots, I realized that most of the people in the cities are those who have left their homes, back in the villages. They were doing well, and I mean, doing well in the sense they were living with their families, they were doing agriculture, they had lands, and they had whole family society support system also to carry on. Once they shift or migrate to the cities, their condition, in the sense, maybe they might be earning well or they might be having a settled income, but at the same time they suffer, in lot many sense, so that villages are now shifting to the urban. So this divide of rural and urban is creating a lot of problem in India. Still we see that we might be spending a lot of money for the upliftment, and these are the solutions. Whenever we come up with solutions in the budgetary provisions or in the schematic provisions, these are very orthodox, or very conventional provisions, which are actually not solutions. Just giving money is not a real solution, but building up entire ecosystem as a village economy to make them self-sufficient, because self-sufficiency was the core aspect of our existence. Because there in whole village you would find a farmer, you would find a person who would mend your things. So there was a whole setup where entire needs of a person, of a family, would get fulfilled right there and then. And when we created this divide of urban and rural, and this sense of progress, this sense of growth also, there is still, I still find that, if you look at the statistics, there is a very interesting report by Indus Valley report. They bring out, developmental indicators showcasing the growth trajectory of India. So in that report, it shows that, there are a lot of investment, especially the startups investments, and the angel investors also in new technology also. So that entire investment, a lot of it is going into the rural. But the problem is that the investment that is going in the rural is the most of the benefit is being, is going to the people who are urban dwellers. So people maybe, the livelihood opportunities and the income opportunities. So income divide and disparity has become a big issue in India. So maybe
we had an internet glitch, but we are out of it now. So let's continue, please.
So what I was saying that, when this divide, as we understand that urban divide, urban and rural, so it is a definite thing that a lot of interest is being generated into what's going on in the villages, because a lot of opportunities are there in the villages. A lot of business opportunities are there. A lot of startup opportunities are there, which the data is also clearly showing that opportunities are there. But at the same time, the people who are living in the villages are not getting the benefit of it. That's why there is disparity of income, 1:2.5. So this is a huge disparity between the urban dwellers and the rural dwellers. And this division also, Subhaji, I also am never in favor of, having this divide of, identifying as Gaonwasi and Sheherwasi. This is not this is not a fair division, because we are largely a country who take pride in our villages, who have invested in our villages to make them, in terms of governance also, we have done a lot of amendment in the constitution. So we have given them a best of infrastructure also. If you come to India now, good roads are there. The infrastructure development and investment is huge. Though there are many villages where the electricity is also not reaching. There are villages which do not have roads still. But largely, if you see the larger picture, the villages are improving, but at the same time, the disparity is increasing. So when you are creating a lot of opportunities there, so the apparent benefit should be going to the people who are there, who are living there, who belong to that land. Then only you can see, because if you have more opportunities in the urban, then they will shift. And I have seen the villages in West. I keep traveling to a lot of places, and especially in the villages, and I see a lot of old age population is there left in the villages, because most of the youth has shifted to the cities, big cities, either for livelihood or for studies or for better opportunities, for whatever reasons. So this is going to, so the one of the indicators also say that by 2050 the village population in India would decline to 50%. It is currently approximately 70%. It will decline to 50%. And it also conveys that when we, because most of the agriculture economy comes from villages. And if people are shifting from agriculture to non-agriculture sectors, it is a huge loss for us. And why they are shifting? So these are the issues, I think, if India would start addressing, and the people who are investing in Indian businesses or Indian technologies, if they start thinking in this from this aspect, I think that would be of immense that would, but this is also so painful for people like me, that when we go to the villages, the women have to walk miles to fetch water. They are worried about the future of their youngsters. So despite the opportunities which are right at the doorstep, for especially for the educated youth, the villages have not been able to utilize those opportunities in the sense that we can come back to the age when we can call ourselves as that villages are living textures of our social fabric. So that is the, because entire beauty with now, whenever there are holidays in India, especially people who are living in metro cities, they would look for the places which are peaceful, which are serene. They want noiseless places. They are sick of it. They're sick. They know that their health is dwindling. If you go to, I live in Rajasthan, but whenever I think of that, if there are opportunities in Delhi, it scares me, because the kind of pollution you have, the traffic problem, and the burden on resources. So cities are now dumped like, with a lot of problems, and we are not able to come out of it, despite the fact that we already know where the problem lies. So I think the solution is that we know where the problem is, we know where the skill is, we know that this is the population which is hardworking. You see in Olympics, you see in sports, most of the players, they come from rural background, they come from villages, because they have the habit of working hard and having a goal also. So village youth needs to be directed now with the expanse of, or with the access of internet on all the technologies. I also see one aspect, that they have the technologies, they have the mobile sets also, but how are they using it? So sometimes, this is also a problem, that they do not know how to leverage this whole opportunity also. So there is a huge gap in terms of social leadership also. They're in villages. Otherwise, if you remember, we used to have people who would guide us. They would be teachers, or there would be gurus, and there would be people with wisdom who you can easily approach. Now, this is the problem, is that who you approach to. So, villages are still full of opportunities, but the problems they face is that, if they really want to continue with agriculture. Agriculture is facing a lot of problem because of climate stress, and this is something which you can bank on. They are never at a risk. Agriculture is a profession with huge risks. So what could be the way out? This has to be thought through. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for all kinds of people, for policy makers, for political people, for social leaders also, to transform villages, because once villages become vibrant, there is a scheme of government which says that Adarsh Gaon, ideal villages, but there cannot be any ideal villages. Village can be a village only. Village with all the amenities, basic infrastructure, and basic opportunities for education, for health. People have still, they still walk maybe 15, 16, 40 kilometers to have basic health services in India. So we're not able to, provide them basic health services in far-off villages. So this was my concern. I think I just wanted to convey this to everyone, that where are we focusing now? In our knowledge text also, it is said that Udyameni hi siddhyanti karyani na manorathe. Only by thinking about work you cannot achieve something. You have to work hard. So this is one population which is 70% of the population of India, which knows how to work hard, which has wisdom, which is so intelligent, which is so simple, which are so honest, which are so pure from heart. And once if you ever come into touch with them, you realize that it's good that they've not gotten in touch with the urban life. They have not been corrupted. They are so unadulterated. They are so beautiful people. And this is our real legacy. This is our real Bharat, that when we go to them, we feel as if they also make us feel that you are our own. You can live with them. You can live in their houses. You can have, you can eat with them. But as they come to cities, we treat them as aliens. So this is the division which I think should go. And we might also sometime, I'm just closing it, that at the same time, I think we need to seriously think about this aspect also, that why should everyone be called a citizen? They are not citizens. They are village dwellers. Because where this coinage comes from, so we have to have our own coinages, because we are so diverse. There is unity, but there's so huge diversity. Let's see that remains intact. That diversity is the beauty of Indian society. So I just want to say that, every one of us, rather, including me, I'm also trying through my small initiative called Dharatal, because I've worked in mainstream media for long. Now I'm doing in a very small way this that how to be their voice. I've done a whole story on 100 villages in western part of Rajasthan who have no water, no electricity, no road, and they have not rebelled still. They are not on roads. They are still living, and you can still see them smiling. So this is the population we have the responsibility to serve. We have to be their voice. We have to make them feel that they are part of us. They're not somebody who we do not really care about. So we might enjoy our economy and all the progress and all luxuries of life, but for them, basic amenities, the basic needs, I think we cannot call ourselves a progressive society if even one family or one person suffers in India. So that is my message, that please look at those places which really need people like you, like us, and like all knowledgeable people.
All right. Please tell us about your endeavor, Dharatal.
Okay. So Dharatal, I started 1 year back. And the thought was that, a lot of issues, because when I worked in mainstream media, I would really struggle to get those issues across, to get them space in the newspaper, to get them space on the screen. It was a real struggle, So once you struggle, it means that you are championing the cause. Then people start identifying you as an activist, which I would never identify myself as an activist. I was a simple journalist then who would really want that these are the real issues, and we have this responsibility to carry their voices. But I know that, the commercial intent of the newspapers and the media houses, they have different mindsets also. So when I left the mainstream media, I thought that, rather than asking anyone and keep complaining about all this, let's have our own platform, maybe small one. So I just started Dharatal, which means grassroots. And the idea was that those issues uh, which never appear or not discussed in the mainstream media, I'll discuss those issues. I'll speak about those. For example, recently I've spoken about a boy who lost both his hands, but after 5 years of struggle, he's able to drive. But he's struggling to get a license in India, which is his due, and which is there a provision in the rules also. But he has to struggle, and nobody would care to carry his story. For them, just a sensational story, but responsibility to find a solution also, at least to try at least to find a solution of it. So Dharatal is just a platform to raise those voices which are on the margin, which are not heard, lesser heard, and where we can work on the solution aspect. And I also try to figure out what are the policy implications or policy angles of this issue. So this is about people, policy, and point of view. This is the core theme of this idea.
Okay,
so this is a
so what is it? It's a video series or print?
it is a YouTube channel. It is a YouTube channel.
Okay. And
so it is a slow-paced journalism. It is very slow-paced.
Who are the speakers? Only you or others also?
I generally do, and I invite a couple of people as you. India can experience, in a big way. So natural farming, somebody is doing amazing work in Lucknow. So I just asked him that, can you sit and we talk about it? What are the issues and what are the policies and what are the gaps? So I do invite some people there, but mostly because I do it with my own comfort. So I do research, I do find policy angles, and there are certain issues which I know that I wanted to speak about, but I never got an opportunity to. So this is just a small platform.
Okay. Any advice you have for young people?
For
young people?
Young people, I think focus is the biggest challenge now. So just focus whatever you want to do, because there are distractions, and technology is meant to distract you. It is designed to distract you. So it is most important thing to have focus, and just by bringing your focus to your work will save you.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add here?
Nothing. I think I've
okay, good. So I think then let's end it here today, and I'll be back with an expert or another young person. Till then, bye everybody.